guys, it's Emma, and I'm back today for you with another video. And today we are going to be talking about the differences and the pros and cons between two books. And if you don't know what two books those are, but obviously if you look at the title, you'll know what they are. But I referenced these two in my mid-year book freakout tag, and I was talking about how much I wanted to read both of them. I had pre-ordered one of them and I had the other one, but I wanted to read them both because they were so similar, or at least they sounded so similar to me. Now, having read both of them, I can definitely tell where hype was misplaced, right? Those two are The Ritual by Adam Nevill and The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. I have Stephen Graham Jones in my scary recommendations video and then also in my best books of 2020 video, all right? The Only Good Indians is, as Paul Tremblay put it, a masterpiece, bitch, okay? And then The Ritual, I have her in my worst books of 2020 video. The difference is staggering. I gave The Ritual 1 star and I gave The Only Good Indians 5 stars. And I want to talk to you guys about why I believe you should read The Only Good Indians rather than The Ritual. And we're going to be talking about all the differences and the pros and cons and such, and just the comparisons between the two. Before we start, however, I want to let you guys know, obviously, that I will have the links to causes in the description. I will have my Goodreads in the description as well if you want to read the reviews that I gave for both of these. I will have the ambiances that I have for both of them while I read them. And I just want to say a quick thank you to you guys for me reaching 100 subscribers. We did it! Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful to you guys. I wouldn't have reached 100 obviously without you guys, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my little heart. I love y'all. With that being said, let's get into the video. Let's start on a high note. Why not? What we're going to dissect first is the writing between the two. We're going to start with The Ritual. My main complaint with The Ritual was the fact that it was riddled with sentence fragments and run-ons, all right? And sometimes that's acceptable, like contextually. However, this was not one of those times. It reminded me a lot of a second grader, but at the same time, I couldn't do a disservice to second graders because I've known second graders who can write better than this. Meanwhile, The Only Good Indians, it had a fragmented style. However, because of Stephen Graham Jones' really unique writing style, it perfectly mirrors, or very close to perfectly mirrors, human thought. And by that, I mean in a situation where adrenaline's coursing through you, you are terrified for your life, you're not going to be thinking just one thought right after the other cohesively. You're going to be thinking, okay, get to the tree, get behind it, get under it, you know, like very choppy. So while The Only Good Indians was fragmented, it did not have sentence fragments throughout. Does that make sense? Not to mention, the writing for The Ritual just in general, we're not talking specifically about sentence fragments, about run-ons, we're talking about the writing in general. The action scenes were very strange. I don't think that the author's specialty is writing action scenes because they were very confusing. They would be at one place and then they would somehow get to another with very little description, and it's just very odd. It was very odd to read. Now we're going to talk about the plot. I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler-free as I can, but if there is a spoiler that I just can't really seem to get around, I will, put up a warning. So, The Only Good Indians uses Native American legends and folklore in order to make its plot, in order to make its antagonistic force. And by doing that, because it uses powers so ancient, it's terrifying, because how are you going to get rid of something that's thousands of years old, right? The Ritual, I will give it, tried to do that. It's set in Sweden. You would think that it's based on Scandinavian or Norse folklore and legends, right? You'd be wrong, like me. I'm gonna be saying a spoiler, or something that's kind of like a spoiler. So if you don't want to be spoiled in any form whatsoever, just mute this until I have my hand down, okay? So, it's not Norse at all, or at least I don't believe that it is. It's a very Christianized thing, which I don't necessarily understand, because while you have the Only Good Indians using its native legends and folklore, the ritual takes something from somewhere else. It doesn't make sense. There's no correlation. Again, the differences are staggering, all right? Because the Only Good Indians follows 4 friends, and we follow each friend right after the other as the antagonistic force follows them, right? Meanwhile, the ritual, we follow 4 friends, and it would have been like the Only Good Indians. However, it was just very scattered and cluttered, especially with the later book plot. It was just ridiculous, in my opinion. By the way, what's y'all's favorite scary book? And I mean like a favorite scary book where the scariness is derived from like a legend or some sort. Please tell me down in the comments. That'd be interesting. Now we're gonna move on to the section of the video where it talks about the monologues, right? Because obviously you've got a main character. They're gonna have some internal monologues here and there. The internal monologues that we got from the ritual were long-winded, unnecessary. They were from, at least in my opinion, an unlikable character, and riddled with fat shaming, by the way. Meanwhile, the Only Good Indians, what made this different from the ritual was the fact that the Only Good Indians showed you. It didn't tell you, right? It kept things short and simple, especially with the help of his really unique writing style. I really appreciate books and just authors in general when they don't tell their audience what's happening, when instead they show us. And The Only Good Indians is an amazing example of that. I found it makes me feel smarter, which I don't feel smart a lot of times, so that helps a lot. The Only Good Indians, in my opinion, is just a better The Ritual. All right, I hate to say it, but there's so many similarities between the two that it's hard not to compare them, right? They both deal with 4 friends. They both deal with an antagonistic force from the land. They're both scary books. It's very hard not to compare the two. However, like I said, I gave one book 1 star and then the other book 5 stars. I don't know how much clearer my bias could be. And as horrible as it sounds, I'm quite honestly very embarrassed about the amount of hype that I gave The Ritual. I should have just stuck with the movie. However, The Only Good Indians deserves every ounce of the hype it can get, all right? Please read this. It was the first Stephen Graham Jones book that I've ever read, and it's probably one of the best horror books that I've ever read in my life. It genuinely freaked me out, all right? So if you like freaky, scary books, read The Only Good Indians, please. It's amazing. Well, you guys, that's the end of this comparison video, recommendation video. I don't really know what to call this. It's a comparison video. I hope you guys got something from this video, and by something, I hope it means that maybe you'll read The Only Good Indians, because wow, is it an amazing book. All right, it does, like I said before, it deserves every ounce of the hype that it could get, and I'll be here to shout it from the rooftops. Read The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. It's an amazing book. So with that being said, you guys, I hope you guys are staying safe, and I really just want to thank you guys so much for 100 subscribers. This is amazing. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Bye.